Joe Biden was on Lawrence O'Donnell, the corporate media talk show host on MSNBC, and he was being asked by Lawrence O'Donnell about Tara Reade. Obviously, he's still denying it, but he's saying, if people believe Tara Reade, her claims that I, as in Joe Biden, sexually assaulted her, then they probably shouldn't vote for me. If I was somebody else and this claim about a candidate came out and I believed the claim that they sexually assaulted somebody, I wouldn't vote for them. I mean, that's pretty strong words. And, again, all of the evidence, at least from my perspective, backs up Tara Reade's claim that she was, in fact, sexually assaulted by Joe Biden in the summer of 1993, when she was working for him as a staffer in his Senate office, back when he was the senator from MBNA, because he got that name obviously because he always did the bidding of the credit card industry and was more than willing and happy to do it. So again, let's go through some of the facts and evidence that we have now to support Tara Reade's claim. She told her brother at the time. Brothers confirmed it. She told a friend at the time. Friends confirmed it. Tara Reade also said that she told her mother. This, would also corroborate and make sense given the fact that Tara Reade did, in fact, say that her mom at one point had called in to Larry King. She didn't remember when, but remembered that her mom did, in fact, call in to Larry King and mention something about this. And what do you know, the tape services, Tara Reade identifies this voice as her mom, talking about, how somebody that she knew, or her daughter, I forget how she mentioned it, but, that her daughter had been experiencing some shitty stuff in her place of work in Washington, D.C. That surfaced. We have Tara Reade's neighbor who said in 1995 or 96, Tara Reade told her about being sexually assaulted by Joe Biden. Neighbor backs this up. Neighbor is also a Biden supporter. Then there was the divorce papers that were filed when Tara Reade was divorcing her former husband, that talks about some type of sexual harassment or something like that Tara Reade had been experienced in the past, and how this had really left a huge negative impact on her. We have that. We have Tara Reade's herself. She tried to bring this stuff up, not the assault, but the sexual harassment, to other people within Joe Biden's office. Those people deny it. Biden denies it. But from my perspective, the preponderance of evidence, to use a legal term there, definitely, from my perspective, again, supports Tara Reade's claim that she was, in fact, sexually assaulted by Joe Biden. If we lived in any type of, just political system or society that actually valued decency, respect, things around consent, not violating people's bodies without consent, the rule of law to a certain extent, then, this a credible sexual assault allegation should, you would think, be enough to force a candidate to drop out. But then, you have the blue MAGA people saying, well, Trump's been accused by dozens of people of sexually assaulting or raping, then obviously, he shouldn't have been given the opportunity to become president either. But just because a Democrat does the sexual assaulting or raping doesn't make it any better, people. You're just shown to be complete political opportunists, hypocrites, and careerists when you're willing to turn the other cheek when it's a sexual assault against a candidate or a politician that you support. If you believe Tara Reade, listen to Joe Biden. Don't vote for him if you believe Tara Reade. He said it himself. If he, was voting for a candidate who was accused of sexual assaulting somebody, and he believed, that person coming forward was telling the truth, he wouldn't vote for them either. Listen to Joe Biden. And it's pretty interesting because there have been, I forget who it was, but I believe it was some type of op-ed in the New York Times saying, this is a very troubling, disgusting, disturbing claim. I believe Tara Reade, but I'm still voting for Joe Biden. I mean, even Biden himself says if you believe Tara Reade, you shouldn't vote for him. So what are those people going to say? Biden just came out and said, don't vote for me if you believe Tara Reade. I believe Tara Reade. Just from my perspective, another reason not to vote for Joe Biden. It's not supporting Medicare for all, not supporting a Green New Deal. And let's go back to the Medicare for all piece for a sec. Not supporting Medicare for all in the middle of a fucking pandemic when tens of millions of people have been kicked off of their insurance. And he's saying even if somehow is able to pass the House and Senate, he would veto the Medicare for all fucking bill. When we have 70,000+ people dying each year because they don't have health care, 500,000+ people going bankrupt. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Biden says he would veto it. Doesn't support a Green New Deal. Kind of important to have an habitable planet to live on. Doesn't support ending the wars. Supports these horrible trade agreements. Wants to escalate tensions with North Korea. Probably wants to escalate tensions with, China, which Trump is already doing that too. With Russia, etc. Supported the Iraq War, lied about it, saying George Bush tricked him into it. I mean, if George Bush is able to trick you into getting the Iraq War, that doesn't really speak very well of your of your judgment as supposedly being the commander-in-chief, or at least, that's what you'd become if you became president. Luckily I don't live in a swing state. Even if I did, I think it would honestly be very hard for me to vote for Joe Biden. Just the alleged sexual assault thing, it's like, you gotta have some fucking standards. You gotta be able to draw a line in the sand and say, no, can't really do that. You got, you're a sexual assaulter, you're a warmonger, you've never met an outsourcing deal that you didn't like, you bragged about working with segregationists, there's a very serious and sad cognitive decline, and he's not moving to the left on any issues. We got this ridiculous fucking unity task force things that are just going to be a huge, nothing burger to try to placate the left, which, I'm willing to eat my words here, but I very strongly doubt if anything tangible or lasting will come out from it. Joe Biden might pay some lip service to a few things here or there, but again, during a pandemic, he said he would veto Medicare for all if somehow it was able to pass the House and the Senate and get to his desk for signing. And again, this video is about him going on Lawrence O'Donnell and telling people not to vote for him if they believe Tara Reade. I believe Tara Reade. I'm not voting for him, and there's a long and illustrious and frankly disturbing list of reasons not to vote for Joe Biden. This is just another one in that long list. I don't like to voter shame like, people like Mehdi Hassan and even Bernie Sanders said it was irresponsible for his supporters not to vote for Joe Biden. Saw this in 2016. Voter shaming doesn't work. You actually need to give people some real, tangible, material reasons to support you, to vote for your candidate. Voter shaming doesn't work. If Biden would have a lot easier time getting former Bernie supporters, people on the left, so-called progressives, to support him if he actually campaigned on the issues that made people support Bernie in the first place. Wasn't some cult of personality. Bernie, again, was the compromised candidate. I don't identify as a Democrat whatsoever. I was supporting Bernie Sanders because he supported policies that were really important to me, like Medicare for all, So we actually have universal health care like basically every other industrialized country in the world. So we have tuition-free higher education, so people aren't shackled with tens and thousands of dollars of student loan debt, so they're able to, better themselves and, gain more knowledge. That's a great thing. Canceling student loan debt, again, getting rid of that just trillions of dollars in student loan debt that we don't need. Canceling medical debt, ending the wars, getting rid of these horrible free trade deals that harm workers both in our country, the working class in our country, and the working class in other countries. Green New Deal, so we have a inhabitable planet to live on. Getting money out of politics, legalizing marijuana, ending the drug wars, abolishing ICE, etc. People weren't supporting Bernie because they were some cult-like group that just adored Bernie Sanders. They were supporting him because they believed in the policies that he championed. Joe Biden doesn't support any of those. A bit of a rant, but I digress. So, listen to Joe Biden. If you believe Tara Reade, don't vote for him. Simple as that. It came out of Joe Biden's mouth. Those are my thoughts. I would love to hear yours. If you like the video, like the damn video. If you don't, hit that dislike button. That's cool too. Subscribe for more content. Peace. Much love.